And I like the propellers. I like that they work and they're very propelling. They propel this thing to look. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the A3U Review. In this episode, we're going to start off with a review of the FansProject Function X Browning.
And then we're going to take a quick comparison of the Iron Factory City Commander with the new Iron Factory City Commander 04G.
That's right, my name is Alex.
I'm Boris.
And you're watching
the A3U Review.
So we're going to kick off this episode by doing a review for the FansProject Function X Browning. And I really like this robot mode.
As usual, it's got its nice Function X kind of touches. The design itself is a little bit unique. Of course, they're trying to still capture the spirit of highbrow, which is who it's based on. I think the coloring, along with the actual slight changes in the uniqueness of the design really kind of gives it this really cool FP kind of feel to this figure.
Absolutely. If you put this guy beside all the other Function X figures, oh man, it's like a very uniform like squad of Function X robots, you know what I'm saying? They all look very, very uniform together. They have that kind of style to them. What I find very unique about this one is because of the fact that he transforms into like some kind of a helicopter. Mm-hmm. They have to make a very, a non-symmetrical look, especially to his the lower half of his body, which I think is actually a pretty unique feature about him. I think it looks pretty cool, even though his legs don't match.
Yeah, at first it's going to not make sense to a lot of people because you're looking at this going, what is going on with the kneecaps and then the feet, right?
Yeah.
It throws you off a little bit at first. It threw me off. I thought there was actually some QC issues.
Yeah.
But once you transform it, you'll see why it needs to be that way.
Yeah.
But all in all, like even with the non-symmetrical legs, they still did a really good job of kind of hiding.
Oh, they sure did.
Making it so that it still doesn't look like crap, right? And again, you have some really good articulation. You have really nice ball joints. His feet, have a heel swivel as well as a toe swivel.
Yeah.
Well, the heel actually swivels, which makes the toe be able to kind of elevate as well. On the other side, you have kind of these like wheels. That'll be explained in alt mode, of course.
Yeah.
That also kind of helps to give it some stability by staying outwards. Although I did notice on this foot, it's missing the same kind of articulation that you can get with this foot here. But I mean, it's not really a huge consequence, honestly, because of the ball joint that's happening here, and then this foot still is able to swivel from side to side.
Yeah.
Now, it is important to mention that the right foot doesn't actually have a ball joint. It does limit the posability on the right side.
Yeah.
But not as much as you would think. So it's still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then of course the knees just have this nice kind of ratcheting.
Oh yeah.
Actually feels really good.
That's great.
And then some soft ratcheting in the hips here.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid looking figure, as well as a figure that's has a lot of a solid articulation. One of the things that I really like about this figure is the fact that, okay, we obviously know that these are going to turn into helicopter blades, right? But the fact that he has it on his forearms make it feel like it could be used as it has multifunction, like a weapon. So it gives it a very, very a cool aesthetic to it, because typically I would see helicopter blades on the back of the robot, or they would use it as a sword. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Springer did that before, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he has it on the forearm, it just feels like he can go whoosh, You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty cool. I like that they decided to go with that look.
His wrists do swivel around.
Yeah.
However, on mine they're just slightly loose. Not to a really annoying point, but when you are posing it, if you knock it, it will, slide. Otherwise, it's like, nothing really happens.
I think it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, definitely. And then of course, you have the headmaster.
Oh yeah.
Is of course very important in this series. Transforms into another unique little headmaster for this series. Now, it is important to note that there was an issue with the current Browning, and FansProject is looking to solve this issue. I don't know how they're going to do it, if they're going to provide like a round of free little headmaster guys. I personally don't feel like it's that big of a deal. I don't interchange the heads as much as I thought I would. Like, I do play around with them, obviously, but if you do have any of the other headmasters, you would probably be used to the fact that they actually all interchange, all of the heads.
Yeah.
However, Browning's head is the peg is too thick. The head size is too big, so it won't actually fit on the other headmasters, which for some was a real bummer and an oversight. So here we got code as well.
The thing is that I feel like not very many people. I mean, there are some people who do that and they will get bummed out by the fact that it doesn't fit. But really, how many people do that? I mean, if you put this head on this head, the color will not coordinate and won't match, right? So
yeah, display-wise, I don't think it affects it.
Put the original heads on, right? Keep the original heads.
Yeah, display-wise, I don't think it really affects it.
Yeah.
Like, as you can see, when you have them all displayed together, they actually look pretty good together.
Yeah.
But, there are still people that like the Function X series because the ability to play around like that is really, really cool. You know, it really gives it that kind of fun factor. And for me, I do have to agree with some of those people that, when you have one out of the series that doesn't quite fit, you start wondering, what gives, right? And, especially with Hasbro coming out with their headmasters as well. All of those are interchangeable. Yeah. The Titan Masters actually fit on to all of the Hasbro heads, and it's part of the play factor. So unfortunately, that does give a knock to it. But yeah, it's like you said, for some, it really doesn't matter. Like for me, I display it all like this. Only when I fool around with them a little bit, I will interchange the heads, and it's kind of this cool thing. But really, most of the time, they're always in this mode.
Yeah.
And having them together, it really looks impressive. Eh? This is the whole headmaster set, basically.
Yeah.
Excluding the exclusives.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They look really good. This is all the headmasters in the series. Let's get into vehicle mode and take a closer look.
So now we have the Browning in its helicopter mode, and this looks like a sci-fi futuristic helicopter.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This is what I like about the Function X line in general. It's a really great new take on a lot of the design for the headmasters. This is no different. The actual helicopter mode is not as straightforward as you'd think. It has some of their own spirit in it, like most FansProject stuff. And I think they did a really good job. I
think it looks pretty cool. It's got its own unique little style to it. I mean, we've seen all kinds of helicopters before, but this is its own thing. And I actually like the weapons on it. These like a Gatling gun, and the propellers are also very, very cool. I like that they spin with ease.
I think I like how the transformation was. Yeah. A bit better than what the final form was. I mean, I think it's cool that they went on their own thing. That's not to say it's like amazing. I do have some problems with the fact that there's like it feels like this is a little bit unfinished in the front. It's like this like stubby little thing. Other than that, you know, the rest of it passes for a helicopter.
Yeah. I think that's the most important thing, that it passes for a helicopter, because if you take away those propellers, it's a weird looking plane.
Yeah, totally. And then I had a couple of comments about the cockpit. It's pretty cool that you could still fit the headmaster in there.
Yeah.
I kind of have him sitting in there right now. My only thing was that it's not entirely form-fitting. You do have to jiggle it around a little bit to get it working properly. For those of you at home, don't force it. It kind of has this little hinge that moves a little bit, so you could kind of slide it forward a little bit more, and it kind of needs that so that you can actually get it into place.
Sure.
And so then you end up having the proper fittings. The pegs peg into the sides, as well as into the front of the helicopter. But otherwise, yeah, it's a little bit weird. The landing gear makes it so that it actually sits on its tail more than not. And there's no landing gear in the back to circumvent that.
I think what I'm not a big fan of is this little gap here. I mean, I see what they, you know, like why they had to do that, but it's like a hole.
Yeah, they definitely left a few uncharacteristic design flaws for FP, but on the whole, I think it was really nicely done. It does fit into the Function X line in terms of its ingenuity in the transformation. But yeah, there you have it. You know, let's give it a score.
Sure. So now we're gonna score the Browning, and for aesthetic, I am going to give him a 7. I think he looks decent. Doesn't look outstanding. He actually shares kind of a similar look with the other ones, so I think that when you have it next to a lot of the other ones, it's not something that is like that really blows me away. So I'm gonna say that it gets a 7.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I echo some of the same things that Alex said. I still feel like FansProject does an awesome job of promoting its own design and spirit into these renewed characters.
For playability, I'm gonna give him a 6, and it is a headmaster. You can, you know, do some stuff with it, which is like, of course, transform it and then, you know, take off its head and transform it into a little guy. But I really don't see myself playing with it outside of its robot mode that much. I think I might just keep it in its robot mode, just because I really don't care for that helicopter mode. It's not really my thing. The helicopter looks kind of weird. I like the robot mode though.
Playability for me gets a 6 as well. I do like the transformation. I actually did enjoy it a lot. It has a lot of flaps that open up. But I do have to say that the head not fitting, obviously it detracts away from the playability with the rest of the line. And, you know, just in general, I think that hurts the overall uniformness of the line.
For innovation, I'm gonna give Browning a 7. I thought the most innovative thing about it was the fact that it's a non-symmetrical robot, and you can see that from the legs, and that is because it transforms into a helicopter. And you will see that from the transformation and all the way to the point where you complete the transformation, that they have done a pretty decent job in trying to create that result, you know, by having this robot become a helicopter and then just making it so that it transforms in a very, very unique way.
Innovation for me is an 8. I still feel like it carries a lot of the same traits as the rest of the Function X line. They could have went real simple with the transformation. However, they really did think about it, made some very clever moves. You know, like the leg kind of splitting in two. I think it's very, for me, in line with how Wreck-Gar from the Hasbro series kind of transformed. Very unexpected. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
For my overall score, I will give it a 6.67.
And for my overall score, it's a 7.33.
So we have kind of similar scores, and I think that that really doesn't mean a whole lot. It's really up to you, because if you are a fan of this this series, by all means, pick it up, complete your set. Everybody, will feel differently about it, but I think for the most part, anybody who is a fan of this series will want to get this, because it is still a very, very unique figure.
It definitely caps off the line, and I still hope to see more come from it.
Absolutely. So that's our review of the FansProject Function X Browning. So now we're going to do a comparison, and that is for the Iron Factory City Commander, and there is, of course, the limited edition version.
Yeah, that's right. It just came out not too long ago. Nothing really super different in terms of accessories or the actual mold itself. I just thought I'd bring to attention, the color differences. Obviously, this is coming in a nice Diaclone kind of Ultra Magnus scheme.
Yes.
And I actually really like it with all of the weapons. The original one I kind of kept, without the weapons. I didn't feel it was really necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the hammer was kind of cool. And it does come with all the same accessories. The original one does. I believe it's just different colors once again. But he looks fine in classic mode.
He sure does.
Yeah, but with the new color scheme, I really feel like it actually lends to having all of this.
Those gray parts
gear.
on? Yeah.
It just looks really good on him, and he reminds me a lot of Power Master.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Right? I know it's not supposed to be, but it just looks really good like this. Looks really good beefy like that because of the color scheme. And I actually think they did quite a good job in changing up the color, even though it's just a repaint. I think if you're a fan of this whole Iron Factory line, that's kind of more what I wanted to highlight. I know we talked about it when we compared it to the City Bots.
Yes,
in the previous episode.
Yeah, Pandanus.
But I can't say enough about these guys. They're actually a really, really great
scale.
Yeah, really, really great scale.
Yeah.
They remind me of the hybrid scale that Takara tried to do.
Oh,
back.
yeah.
And they ended it actually only after 3 figures, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because they were like legend size, but super fine detail. In fact, I think I have one of them. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab it.
Just grab it. While Boris is grabbing it, I'm gonna dance for you guys.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
A3U rave party.
Yep.
Okay, so this was the one of my favorites. It's modeled after the Galaxy Force Prime.
Yep.
And they did a mini version of it, the THS. I believe it's 01.
Yeah.
This is the first one of that hybrid set. It actually has die casting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of accessories, and you can see it's very similar scale. So this kind of actually reminded me a lot of the Galaxy Force.
Yeah.
With all of its accessories and its bulkiness. I really like the Iron Factory line for this. I've actually displayed it with my. You've gotten shorter over this.
Oh,
segment.
yeah.
Just like the Iron Factory. So
Yeah, I'm just trying to
scale yourself down a bit.
Match the theme of this series.
Iron Factory size Alex.
Yeah.
So I mean, I display it a lot with my Metroplex. Actually, the Takara version being that's much larger, or the Hasbro version if you have it, of Metroplex, the Titan class it really, really makes it look cool when you have these small guys on display.
Oh yes,
yeah.
And I like I've said it before and I'll say it again. These guys look great when they're with a bunch of other guys that are in the same scale as them. Mm-hmm. It just really creates that I guess I don't want to say army builders feel, but just you really get to show a variety of them, because I guess they're more affordable, right? Because they're smaller. And to top things off, a lot of the robots in this scale that have been released from all these different companies, they all come with a lot of great detail on them.
Yeah.
So you can get the I guess the same amount of value that you see in a big figure, but in a small figure, and then you end up with more of them. So that's why these guys are so great. And also, I just think that this matches so well with the Ultra Magnus. You know, it just goes so good together.
Yeah, definitely. I really felt like Takara should have continued with that line.
Yeah.
But, you know, nevertheless, people like Iron Factory, DX9 Warren Pocket have continued with similar spirit. The transformation was amazing on this figure back in the day. Super amazing on this figure as well, now that we're up to date.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going back to looking at these guys again, I just want to say that just like what you said before, the original version looks great on its own with all those extra parts, but this one looks great with all the extra parts. I really agree with, you know, how you've displayed them, and I like them both. I don't think either one is better than the other. I like them both. I like the original version, and I like, of course, this Diaclone version. I never actually thought the Diaclone version was that bad to begin with. I think that the colors work, and once you add these gray parts to it, it just makes it look even cooler. So both of them are great. It almost feels like if you are a fan of one, you got to get the other.
Yeah, it does feel that way. I mean, the repaint took me by surprise. I thought, why do I need another?
Exactly, why?
Yeah, City Commander, and
it isn't until you see it, right?
Yeah, once I took them out of the box, the colors just, I don't know, maybe it's that it's scaled down. Something about it just looks so really cool. So, just thought that if we showed the audience, they could also make up their mind about whether or not they need another City Commander.
Yeah, so there's our comparison of the Iron Factory City Commander. We got the City Commander and, of course, the limited version. So there you have it. And that's our episode for today. We hope you enjoyed it.
Stay tuned for next episode when we compare the Make Toys Gundog with the newly released Fans Toys Willis.
And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, Ages3 and Up, and also follow us on Twitter at Ages3 and Up. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.